angel, baby angel. You're my angel, baby. Baby, you're my angel. Angel, baby, angel.
Hi everyone! Welcome to first episode of LSAF TalkShow. Today we will have a very special guest because they are alumni and also was our lecturer. So tune in.
Hi, how are you guys? Hi. Good. It's been a while, yeah? It's been so long since we last met, Sir Viraj. And it's my first time as well meeting you, Miss Alicia. Yeah? Yeah. So,
I think before we start, it's time to retire the
about that. So, Sir Viraj used to be a teacher in LSAF. I used to be a student, so I keep referring to him as Sir. Even Miss Alicia as well, but I was never taught by you, Miss.
Unfortunately.
So, what do I refer to you as now?
Viraj,
Just
John,
Alicia.
yeah,
Alicia?
anything
So,
works.
Yeah, we'll be casual.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the very first LSAF talk show. So, you guys actually have the privilege on being our very first guests.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored.
Yeah, excited.
Have you guys actually been on any like talk shows, podcasts before?
No, unfortunately, we've not been invited.
Well, now you do have
That's true.
So we're gonna be
First time then.
So we're gonna be asking you a lot of questions on your journey, your work in ACC and LSAF as a whole. Yeah.
It will be.
The ones watching here would also definitely be interested to know how to be where you are at right now. If you guys didn't know, Sir Viraj and Viraj. It's time to drop the sirs. Drop the sirs. Yeah. So Viraj and Alicia are now working in one of the big four companies. Yeah. The big four auditing companies. So before that, we would like to know first what the big four actually are. So, Mr. Like
Yeah, so today our main topic is about Big Four. Jadi, what do people think about Big Four? I don't think so many of people out there knows what is Big Four. So, you know what? I was thinking, why don't we just ask the one that works there? Langsung gitu ya kan?
Big four langsung.
Iya.
Alright,
Okay,
so-
Mr. Viraj, what do you think about Big Four?
Okay, I'll start first and Al, feel free to jump in, I guess.
Okay.
So, Big Four, from definition or from practice, basically describes the revenue or the top firms which generate the highest revenue in terms of the accounting industry. But at the moment, there are four Big Four companies. One is Deloitte, KPMG, PwC, and EY, which is where me and Al are working at currently. And I think one of the things that we have to understand, like what I said, even though it is an accounting firm, we do much more than just accounting. So maybe later we can dive deeper into that. Maybe Al, you can.
I definitely agree with Viraj. Again, they are the biggest public accounting firms. There are a whole lot more, but they're the biggest. That's why they're called the Big Four. And yeah, we should definitely deep dive into the other service lines that these Big Four accounting firms have, particularly EY, where we work.
Yep.
So, is it only auditing?
No.
That's all we know about the Big Four is just auditing firm, accounting firm, you know. But what do they do exactly?
So I guess we could speak from our employers. So in Ernst & Young itself, they have four service lines. One is assurance, so we don't call it audit, we call it assurance. And then I think if we want to relate it to say the relevant papers, audit and assurance,
right.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it was a fun paper, I bet. It's the fun paper. Best one. I haven't taken. Okay, lucky. So you gotta get ready. And then aside aside from assurance, there's strategy and transactions, where Raj and I are part of. We'll explain a bit later, because inside strategy and transactions, there's more sub-service lines, and him and I are on like different sub-service lines. And then there's tax, I believe, tax and law. Oh, sorry,
Consulting.
consulting.
Tax consultant.
Tax
and then
and
there's
consulting.
consulting.
So
So that's the fourth one.
it is Indonesian tax and it is international tax as well, especially in terms of transfer pricing. Because you see, some of our clients, they are listed abroad and they also have branches in various countries, including Indonesia. So transfer pricing or even the topics of international tax is also covered.
All right, so Big Four, you guys are working at EY jadi ya, Ernst & Young. Was it always your dream to be working in a company like Ernst & Young in the Big Four?
I think from accounting student, I think we all have a background in accounting. So I think Big Four has crossed everyone's mind. So, and maybe for someone to, maybe Al, it is different in your shoe. But I think for one, as for a student in general, for a person, they probably, like even some people in our office, and maybe for some people who apply in general, maybe they will apply to different Big Fours because Big Fours are equally known, they're equally prestigious, they're globally recognized. But we are thankful to be in EY, we have a great support system. We are involved in a lot of work, in a lot of projects, and we can learn a lot as well. So it is a great opportunity for me in particular. Maybe Al, if you wanna add.
I completely agree. I mean, the culture, we just fit in with it. Everyone's really kind. It's a really nice environment to work in as well.
Yeah.
So a dream come true for you both. It's always, it's really always been your plan to join Big Four.
It would be one of my bucket lists, I must say.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's more of a bucket list kind of thing.
If you guys didn't know, Viraj and Alicia were also studying in LSAF, right?
Yeah.
Under Sir Manish. Yeah. Yeah. Very, very early, first batch, yeah.
Yeah.
After joining Big Four, EY, how's it feel? Like working every day for the past 2 years for you, Alicia, right? And Sir Viraj for like a year, right?
Yeah.
How does it feel?
Okay, maybe I'll take this one first.
Yeah.
I think just like in most new environment and new places, there is a lot to learn. And I think from day one, even until today, every day, there's still something new to learn. Of course, if we say that, I think it is no secret that the hours are long. But again, at the end of the day, it is a great experience for someone to nurture themselves in.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like it was during the pandemic phase when we joined EY. So we haven't actually gotten an opportunity to work at Bursa Efek Jakarta.
Mhm.
Yeah, Bursa Efek Jakarta, Indonesia.
Yeah.
That's where EY is located.
Okay, yeah.
So we've been working from home this whole time
Yeah.
because apparently fortunately our job enables us to.
Correct.
Although if we were able to go work in the office, we would have had the opportunity to also work at the client's site, the client's office, and depending on who our client is, we could be like traveling outside Jakarta even.
Correct. But I think I personally, I am grateful that we still can work from home or from the comfort of home as well. So, it makes, especially nowadays, Jakarta is becoming back to normal.
Yeah.
So time in the road is also, so at least we can get the opportunity to save bits of time in there.
So before we move to the next question, we will play some games. It's called Rapid Fire. So I'm going to ask question. In 3, 2, 1, they have to put up the answer. So are you guys ready?
I hope so.
Okay. Name 2 types of ratio and their formula. 5.
I'm just writing the ratio.
Okay, up. Time's up.
Current ratio, current active liabilities, towards common margin.
Oh my.
Oh.
Trade
Yo,
payable days
okay.
and trade payable days.
Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. What is
Wow.
correct? Yay!
Above and beyond.
Let's move.
The next question is, what does zero rated mean? Yeah, in tax, right? Yeah.
Actually.
The answer is actually export sales.
Yeah, it is. Indonesian. But the rate is zero, right? I'm assuming for because Indonesia we have that as well.
Yeah. Export sales. Export sales. It says the export sales. It says export sales. So what do you guys do actually in EY?
Okay, so maybe I will start off first and feel free to jump out. So I am in a line called as transaction diligence. Maybe just as an overview of what our line does, maybe I'll give it in this analogy just to simplify it. So let's say a person is in the process of acquiring a house. And so he sees this house that he likes and he gets an offer for, let's say, IDR 3 billion. And so one of the roles in transaction diligence, our main job is due diligence. Due diligence in this context is basically we want to know that so this house has an opening price of, let's say, 3 billion. What are some areas in this house that might be open for negotiations that we can reduce the price? For example, let's say when you enter the house, you see that the foundation is already old or the doors are already rusty. So this could be one of the findings that we can indicate to lower the price of the house. Not only that, but we would also want to know that once, let's say, a buyer acquires the house, it shouldn't be a case that, okay, just after 1 month or 2 months, suddenly the roof collapses or something is to go wrong. We also need to plan the post-transaction impact. For example, if, let's say, there needs to be funds for renovations or there needs to be funds for house maintenance, approximately how much is it going to be? But what we do, it will help determine the valuation of the house, but it also helps to protect your perspective from a legal aspect as well. So this is what we do, but we usually work with other lines as well. So sometimes in my work, in one project, let's say if you want to buy a house, you might want to know, okay, has the taxes for the prior years been settled already? So this is where we have tax due diligence, while my line is in financial due diligence.
Yeah, and I can add on to that. Mine is not transactions diligence. Mine is part of EY Parthenon. So EY Parthenon is the sub-service line in EY strategy and transactions that specializes in strategy. So if we correlate it to ACCA, that would be the professional level paper strategic business leader. So that's where we understand how does a company or we help companies that want to develop their long-term strategy, let's say 3 to 5 years ahead, or even 10 years. I help the client with the 10-year one. And that includes what kind of strategic initiatives they want to implement throughout the years to help them develop or expand with that. Relating it to due diligence, we also, there is a due diligence that falls under our scope as well, although it's not financial like Viraj's, it's commercial. So we do commercial due diligence and operational due diligence. So the difference is that for commercial, I'll just stick to commercial for now, is that we try to assist I think in this case, the buyer, how is the market landscape of the target company that they're planning on buying. So if they want to acquire or purchase a company, they first want to know, like, is this company gonna help, make money in the long term, right? So they look at the market of, or the industry of what that target company is operating in, and what are the market trends like, what are the dynamics going to be in the future, what is the consumer behavior, and then we also look at the competition landscape too. So if you want to correlate it to frameworks that probably you guys have learned, would be like SWOT analysis, pastel, that kind of stuff. So that's we don't use the framework, but we kind of use the logic of it to understand what are the latest what are the competitors doing lately, to kind of like anticipate their future moves or what they've already done. So how can this buyer stand out, or what is the target company doing to stand out? Not the buyer, sorry. That's two of the scope that falls under commercial due diligence. There's more, but I won't get into too much detail.
So before joining LSAF, you guys did IGCSEs, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And how is actually the journey in LSAF itself?
Okay, maybe I will start first. So after completing IGCSE, that is when I started my ACCA journey. So when I think when we both were doing it was still 14 modules. Yeah, 14 modules. Now it's 13. So the first 3 was our foundation, or what we call as fundamentals, where just for the diploma level. And then we did the remaining 6 for advanced diploma skills before going to professionals. So I think one thing about ACCA that we appreciate is that even though the name, of course, has accounting, but we learn much more than that. We learn, like things like even we use in our day-to-day work. Maybe for me, it is more of reporting, it is more of law, it is more of, it has bits of SBL or strategic, business leadership as well. And of course, we need to understand as well audit knowledge. We need to know investment knowledge, because in my field, we deal every day on mergers and acquisitions. So we really learn a lot of things. For me, I guess from a time scale, I don't remember exact, but maybe it would be between 2 to 2.5 years, I think. Yeah.
Until P papers.
No, I think because what happened was I started working, and I think for everyone who has experience working and studying, it is not always so smooth. So there were setbacks. There were times where I just couldn't manage my time. So so I don't remember exactly when I did. I think I did my last exam in 2018 or 19. I really can't recall, but I started in 2016. I think. Yeah. 2016. Yeah.
Pretty similar journey to Viraj. I can only remember that I finished my, because ACCA has a collaboration with Oxford Brookes University, which I really appreciated because I wanted a flexible way of getting my bachelor's degree. I wanted to get it as fast as possible. So I managed to complete it within about 2 years, and I graduated. And they still allowed graduation ceremonies. So Oxford Brookes University, back then when it was in 2016, they allowed their graduates to either have a ceremony in Singapore, I think UK, because that's where they are. I think the other option was Dubai.
Yep.
I can't remember if Malaysia was another option.
Yeah, I think
it was too.
Yeah, correct.
Because I think they narrowed it down recently, the options, but I think back then there were 4. So I went to Singapore, and I was I think I was 19 at the time, so that was fun. And then I think I also did the same thing. I worked on my professional papers while doing a bit of part-time. I think I did a part-time of lecturing as well. at on a project basis. I think LSAF got some universities, so I assisted there and managed to gain ACC membership when I was, I think, 22.
So for your information, guys, LSAF now you can enter when you're done with grade 10, right? And then after that, you also can enter if you're done with your IGCIC too. So yes, that's a great news for LSAF. You guys can come and start your ACCA journey. So anyway, what is your ACCA struggle? What module you struggle the most when in throughout your ACCA journey?
For me, I think in general first. So when me and Al were doing it, because we sat few papers together, I remember. I think the time, apart from the module, I think the time pressure is one thing which maybe until now students still face difficulties in, because to finish the paper and to write, back in the days it was with pen and paper, so to write adequately with a good quality in the amount of time required in the exam is not easy. I understand now that the structure has changed, and there are more relevant aspects such as using spreadsheet and word processing tools. So that is a good news for everyone. But I think more than anything, the time pressure was one, and second was that a syllabus really goes deep into a particular theory or a particular knowledge, which is a good thing. But again, for us to grasp everything, there are going to be challenges as well. For me, one particular module which I struggled in was more towards advanced financial management. This was, I think, one of the topics where it involves a lot of complex things like options, hedging, which these are things which I was not very familiar with to imagine. Because if I can't imagine it in my brain, if I don't know how it works, it's going to be harder for me to do. But with the help of Sir Asim, of course, I'm eternally thankful for all that he has taught me and Al as well. We went through that stage, even though it was a struggle, but we overcame it.
Yeah, I agree on the time pressure thing, and it's still relevant until now. I even back then I actually plotted out. So maybe this is one of the tricks to students. You could actually divide the time. So I don't know how long the exams are now, but is it 3 hours?
Still 3 hours.
Still 3 and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I split the time. From this hour until this hour, or like minutes. 30 minutes will be spent on section A, 45 minutes on section B. It forces you to to just stop writing.
Correct.
Oh, back then it was writing. So and I think that's one way you can tackle the time pressure thing.
Correct.
But again, it's a mental thing as well, because the moment you sit down at the exam in the exam room and we flipped back then. Now it's a click, so less stressful, I think. But we had to flip it, and I remember I flipped my test paper once, and I just couldn't figure out how to answer question 1. So you gotta calm yourself as well.
Yeah.
I know we had friends who would just panic, I guess, it affected their answering. So that was a struggle we had as well.
Correct. I remember even telling in some batches that, if you open your question 1 and you don't know a single thing about it, just laugh. Why? Because there are going to be much easier questions at the end. I don't believe when someone says, oh, the paper was extremely hard or extremely easy, because it is set in a quality, it goes through a lot of quality control of the paper. So it is definitely going to be divided. But, if we both could go through it, and there are, thousands of members who have, successfully passed it. So it's very much possible.
All right, so that's all the time we have for today. Thank you to Viraj and Alicia for taking their time out of their day to join us in this LSAF talk show. And thank you guys for watching as well. We'll see you in the next talk show or next podcast or next program that we're gonna be having. All right. So thank you all.
See
Goodbye.
ya. Bye.